Hi, everybody. It's Rose Garden Radio live from the very center of the universe, Canton, Ohio. Yay. I'm so glad to be here. Aren't you happy, like me, that it's later now? I'm so excited about spring and summer and this dark, cold season being over. Even though we had a beautiful snow the other night, Friday night, it was just epic, very storybook, romantic snow. I loved it. Anyways, thanks for joining me. I have an inspiring pie story, and that's PIE. Let me tell you about it. And Rose Garden Radio, if some of you are just joining me for the first time, is dedicated to helping people shift from what we call 3D to 5D, living fully from our hearts and living our dream life, which every single one of us can do. So let me tell you a little story here. The pie theory you can apply to your own life. Sometimes I make up stories. Sometimes, most times people tell me stories. These are real stories. And a lot of our very own community members, although I changed the name and everything like that. But I hope you'll find them inspirational and you can apply some of these theories to your own life. Okay, so it all starts with a pie. And I'm drawing a circle. And this can be any kind of pie, apple pie, pumpkin pie, key lime pie. But it represents your life. And it's a circle. And in the center, you see, I have marked the center. And that is your spiritual heart. And that's what's driving this ship, okay? And this dream life, which can really be your real life. So my story begins in a small town outside of Columbus, Ohio, and a woman, her name is Jill, and she is in a family that owns a very small, well, not that small. They live in a small town, but they're one of the bigger employers in that town. Um, and they make preserves and chutneys and things like that. And her grandmother and mom started this business years and years ago. And they're using these old family recipes and they're making everything from scratch, everything by hand. And it's been very successful. But, unfortunately, her mom passed away and her dad were left running the company. And Jill had a lot of ideas of her own, but with the way things, kind of go and things change and little companies, small businesses, can be a challenge to compete and yada, yada, yada. But so they needed a little extra help from their bank. And so Jill had flown to Columbus, Ohio, to talk to their banker, their lender in person to see if they could get some money to make it through the Christmas holidays and, just keep everything going as is. And so, but to start this, finding your first slice of your dream, what do you really want to do right now, deep from your heart? And you may think it's impossible, and none of that matters. It's just we need to put the first cut in the pie, right? And in that pie, as we know, that's your life right now. the good, the bad, the, you know, the things you wish were different, whatever it is, that's the pie you're living. But we are creating a new pie right on top of your old pie. That's what's interesting. And so we need to find out what's that first slice. And a lot of times, you know, just like cutting a pie and getting that first piece out, it's a little, might be a little messy, or, you know, you're a little nervous or whatever, but we can do it. So for Jill, she really did some soul searching. And her first cut was that she really knew that she wanted to stay in her hometown, and she wanted to help run this business and get it to be successful. And she believed she could. So she flew to Columbus to talk to this guy, and this is it was around the holidays. And I have to tell you, the meeting didn't really go that well, okay? Because their banker was like, you know, Jill, we've been with you for many, 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 many years, and we love what you're doing, but you're kind of outdated. You guys do everything by hand. You don't have any big equipment. You really can't compete in the market like we feel that you should. So I really can't lend you any more money this time, unless you automate and modernize a little bit, and you have to lay off some of your workers. Well, this didn't sit too well with Jill, because she's like, you know, some of these people, we love everybody there. They're like family to us. We don't want to lay anybody off. And we make everything by hand. And that should be our signature and our strong point. And, but the banker was pretty solid and firm that it wasn't going to work. And he hated to disappoint Jill like that and this family, and he hoped for the best. But he said, unless you can commit to making some changes, I can promise you that this isn't going to work. So she left that meeting feeling a little bit sad. But before she did, she's like, you know, Fred, I had this new idea. And about these like kind of nutritious like nut and fruit bars that, you know, out of all the ingredients that we put in our chutneys and our jams and all that stuff, I've created some bars that I think would do really, really well. And I brought some to show you. And Jill wasn't feeling totally confident because she already got the red light, but she thought she'd just plant a little seed since she'd flown all the way there, and just give Fred a couple bars to try. And Fred's like, you know, Jill, you know I care so much about you guys, but I just you want to start something new where it's just not, you know, you're just not really making it right now on the way things have been going. So I really can't support that. I just don't know how those numbers are going to crunch. I can't do it. Okay, so she left the bars. She brought a big tub of them, and she left them 4 or 5 of the different kinds, and left kind of feeling a little, I don't know, almost kicked in the stomach, right? You know how that is when you really psych yourself up and you go to the big meeting and you're just this little, you know, little fish, and you go to the big whale and it doesn't go the way you thought. And believe me, I know this can be devastating. You almost feel like you've been sucker punched, you know, and just it is a hard moment. But so Jill goes back to the airport to fly home. And what might look like bad news, there's weather coming in, right? And here she is sitting in the airport, flights delayed, flights delayed, flights delayed. Is she going to make it back, you know? And it's the, the next day is Christmas Eve. And so she wants to be back. And sure enough, and this is where it almost gets to be like a little bit of Hallmark movie, which you guys know I love. But anyway, she runs into this guy that she knew in high school. They kind of, he lived in a neighboring town. We're talking these small towns, but she knew him from that time, and they're on that same flight, but it keeps getting delayed, and so Scott, that's his name, decided, hey, Jill, I'm going to rent a car. I know the weather's bad, but you want to come, let's try to make it home. And so, sure enough, she did that. And during the ride, Scott was, they were catching up and asking her what she was doing. So she gave him the download on why she had gone to Columbus and how the meeting went and didn't go. And she really hated to go home and bring this news to her dad on Christmas Eve. And, there was just, they really got on and they bonded, and it was a nice long ride to be together with some, they stopped for lunch and this and that. And Scott, of course, had an interesting story. I'm not going to let the cats out of the bag, but he had become pretty well known since they had seen each other in the music industry. So I'm not going to name any names, but he had become quite famous in small circles. Although Jill didn't know this because he played a type of music that she didn't really listen to, so she didn't know how popular he was. So anyways, they get home, and along the way she noticed that when they were in a restaurant that some ladies were like staring at them, and someone came up and asked for an autograph, for Scott's autograph, and she started to kind of piece something together that like something was up. Okay, so that was going on, but Jill's heart was weighing heavy because she knew when she got home she had to tell her dad this disappointing news. Well, but she made up her mind on that ride that she wasn't giving up. And you know what? Her new friend Scott really gave her a pep talk. He was like, when I first started out, I couldn't get a job anywhere. I couldn't get anybody to listen to my music. I couldn't get a recording studio. It was really, really hard, but I was determined. And because I believed, because I was, and I believed in myself, that things turned around. And, as we say, I'm doing all right now. And I believe that can happen to you. And on the ride, he had tried some of those bars, those new kind of healthy candy bar things, and he really liked them. So he had a lot of confidence and kind of, helped build Jill up, and when they got, to her town, he dropped her off at home, and he came in for a minute, and she told her dad, and that they didn't get the funding, and that was pretty upsetting. And so the next day, Jill got a call from Fred, the banker. And he's like, and oh, I gotta say too, that night she decided, you know what, I believe in myself, and I believe in these new candy bars. And you know what, Dad? He's like, she says, we've got to try it regardless. We have to try it. And her dad's like, I don't know if we should, but we're really, not where we should be, taking on a new project, the new, the unknown, the expenses, whatever. And Jill's like, Dad, if we don't do this, we're probably going to go under. We might as well try this. We have nothing to lose. And sometimes that is a really great place to be, you guys. When you've got nothing to lose, you feel you've got nothing to lose, chances are you're going to try something, right? And this is just another scenario of how things could come about. So her dad, agreed, okay, let's try it. I believe in you, honey, and let's just go for this. So that night, she went on her computer and she mocked up these different the labels for these bars that she hadn't done. She had just made the bars, and she sent them to the banker. Well, lo and behold, that weather also hit Columbus. So this guy was kind of stuck in the office for a while trying to get, his driver to show up and get home and all this stuff. And he was getting hungry and he noticed those bars and he started to eat them. And lo and behold, he was like, these are good. I haven't never tasted anything like these. They're a healthy twist on something and maybe it would work. So sure enough, the next day in the morning, and even though it was like Christmas Day, Jill got a call. And Fred's like, Jill, I just want to tell you, I was stuck in the office. I dug out those bars and I'm really impressed. And I think that I can convince everyone to give you guys that loan that you need to launch this. And I think they're going to be really successful. And I think if we work together, I think this could work because it's something very, very unique. Yay! So this story, Jill believing in herself, not giving up despite everything that looked not going her way, was very, very important. And bing, bing, all of a sudden the doorbell rings. And you're going to love this. Who do you think it was? It was Scott. Scott had really felt a connection to Jill, and he didn't want to let that opportunity go because, he knew how, he was old enough and wise enough to know that sometimes you get an opportunity in life, and if you don't seize it right then, that was the one chance. And he said, I don't want to lose this opportunity to get to know you better, Jill. And if you'll agree, I'd like to keep in touch. And when I'm back in town, I know I have to travel a lot, but I'd like to spend some more time with you. Yay! And Jill was feeling the same way, even though she had a lot on her plate. She was feeling the same way too about Scott. So there's our happy ending, which I always love, or should I say a happy beginning. Now looky here, we've made a new pie. This is the pie that came deep from Jill's heart. This is the dream life that she dared to live, and she's going to live, and everything is going to turn out just beautifully. So there we are, another pie story on a beautiful, our first day with the new extended time. I don't know, daylight savings, whatever we call it, daylight extension. Anyways, you guys, I love you. Hang in there with your dreams. Know that they're possible. Know that you can live the life that you were born to live. And I love you all. And I am starting to post these back on YouTube too. So if you want to check Rose Garden Radio out on YouTube or let your friends know, I'm uploading these videos, but they're for right now at least, they're going to be live here on my Facebook page. So hope you're having a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.